Morning, and they've turned positive on a monthly basis as they trade nearly 2% up. And there's a surge in the Adani Group stocks with a strong recovery by the Adani Group. And the Adani Group has gone on to say that there's growth without debt, and it is stable as far as the last 12 months of the growth is concerned, and that they've grown 17%. And the winter session of the Parliament begins with the Prime Minister targeting the opposition ahead of the Parliament session, saying that people have rejected the opposition multiple times. The opposition not in sync with what the expectations of the people are, is what Prime Minister Modi said in his address just before the starting of the Parliament session. And opposition huddles ahead of the Parliament session with the India bloc leaders to push for debates as far as the Manipur issue, the Waqf bill, and even on the pollution in the national capital. Those are the issues that will be taken up during the winter session. And the government focus as far as the ease of banking bill is concerned to allow multiple nominees for bank deposits. That is going to be the key focus as far as the winter session is concerned. And deliberation and discussions on the Maharashtra's Chief Minister's selection that continues, and top contenders are Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde that are likely to reach Delhi today in order to hold meetings with Amit Shah. And Delhi's air quality stays under 300 points, just a little under that at 278. However, there are certain pockets of Delhi where the pollution is completely out of hand, and it is the decision of the Supreme Court that's expected today. As far as the GRAP-4 measures are concerned, will they continue or will they be revoked is the big question. And the winter session of the Parliament has started, and during which 3 key bills are scheduled. The winter session is expected to continue till the 20th of December. And in this session, the Waqf Amendment Bill and the Disaster Management Bill is among the bills that are likely to be considered for discussion. We have my colleague Maria joining us from right outside the Parliament. Maria, the Prime Minister there addressing the nation ahead of the Parliament session, saying that it's been 75 years since we adopted the Constitution, and he's hoping for a healthy debate and participation and contribution from the maximum members of the Parliament, urging people, to have a very peaceful session this time around.
Yes, that's right. During that customary bite, he also had a message for the opposition that they are disconnected with what is the pulse of the people or the larger sentiments of people because of the election results. Of course, that great, enthusiasm or buoyancy, as we say, in his tone was because of the sweeping victory that the BJP-led Mahayuti has had in the Maharashtra polls. And before that also was a landslide victory in Haryana. So 2 states which have gone in favor of the BJP, very crucial states, which gives the BJP the reason that perhaps the Lok Sabha results where they were below 272 at 240, they needed allies in Nitish Kumar's JDU and TDP was an aberration. And the truth is that Prime Minister Modi's personal appeal remains intact, and the BJP remains the party which is being favored by the people of India. But having said that, about the bills that you spoke about, one of the bills is also a very people-centric bill, which has to do with increasing the number of nominees in the FDs that individual does. Remember, there has been a lot of court cases and succession battles which have played out when an individual dies without having 1 or 2 a number of nominees. That is going to be settled with the bill which is going to be introduced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in the Lok Sabha today, which has to do with amendments to the banking laws. So that's a crucial bill. We'll be putting a spotlight on it, but all eyes will be on what the Prime Minister has to say tomorrow, because tomorrow is the Samvidhan Divas. BJP and the entire government is celebrating it with a lot of enthusiasm and excitement. We have seen a lot of press conferences which will be addressed today as well. So first, let's listen in to what the Prime Minister said before entering the Lok Sabha.
हर पीढ़ी का काम है आने वाली पीढ़ियों को तैयार करे, लेकिन 80-80, 90-90 बार जनता ने जिनको लगातार नकार दिया है, वे न संसद में चर्चा होने देते हैं, न लोकतंत्र की भावना का सम्मान करते हैं, न ही वह लोगों की आकांक्षाओं का कोई महत्व समझते हैं, उनका उसके प्रति कोई दायित्व है वो कोई समझ पाते हैं। और उसका परिणाम है वो जनता की उम्मीदों पर कभी भी खरे नहीं उतरते हैं और परिणाम स्वरूप जनता को बार बार उनको रिजेक्ट करना पड़ रहा है।
देखिए, दो महत्वपूर्ण बातें हैं। ये पहला दिन था
Lok Sabha being adjourned till 12 p.m. One would say on expected lines. But tomorrow is crucial because tomorrow is the Samvidhan Divas and Prime Minister Modi will be addressing the joint session of Parliament which will be happening in the old Parliament building. The Parliament of India has witnessed several historic debates and tomorrow will be one such occasion where we will be hearing all political parties, and whether the opposition will participate in it or not is still not clear. But one thing is clear, that the government and BJP in particular is trying to bring the constitution debate back into its own domain. Something that did cost them a number of seats in the Lok Sabha polls because the opposition built that narrative that the government of the day has compromised the constitution and institutions which are governed by the constitution.
वो आश्वस्त हैं कि चाहे महाराष्ट्र सरकार हो या फिर भारत सरकार, जो नीतियां हैं विशेषकर आर्थिक नीतियां, उनमें स्थिरता रहेगी और वो प्रक्रिया आर्थिक सुधार की दोनों सरकारें मिलकर आगे बढ़ाएंगी। इसका एक बड़ा रिफ्लेक्शन आपको स्टॉक मार्केट।
Okay, we'll be cutting across to Nitin Gadkari now, Union Minister, who is addressing a press conference in Nagpur.
ऐसे गायक, वादक, नर्तक, अभिनेते, कवि, आध्यात्मिक गुरु, इनको सबको हमने आमंत्रित किया है और उद्देश्य मनोरंजन तो है ही, पर मनोरंजन से ज़्यादा लोक प्रबोधन कैसे हो, हमारा इतिहास, संस्कृति, विरासत सब लोगों के सामने कैसे आए, ये कोशिश थी। और इसलिए मनोरंजक, वैचारिक, उद्बोधन पर, देशभक्ति पर, धार्मिक, आध्यात्मिक, ऐसे अलग अलग कार्यक्रमों का आयोजन हुआ। कला, संस्कृति, परंपरा, साहित्य, इसमें तो इसका सबका संगम था ही, पर इसमें संगीत, नृत्य, नाट्य, वादन, गायन, कीर्तन, प्रवचन, कवि सम्मेलन और लोक कला का संगम था। और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज अगर कोई थी, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है कि बाल कलाकार, महिला, युवक, ज्येष्ठ नागरिक, हमने ट्रांसजेंडर का भी एक बड़ा कार्यक्रम किया था, दिव्यांग, आदिवासी, ऐसे सभी कलाकारों को हमने कार्यक्रम के द्वारा उनका सहयोग किया था। अभी तक इसमें 18,000 स्थानिक, राष्ट्रीय, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कलाकारों ने अपनी कला प्रेजेंट की है और करीब डायरेक्ट और इनडायरेक्ट रोज 4 से 4.5 लोग इसका आनंद लेते हैं और सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से पूरे विश्व में ये कार्यक्रम पहुंचता है और बाद में साल भर भी लोग कार्यक्रमों को देखते रहते हैं। आदरणीय श्री श्री रविशंकर जी, सदगुरु चक्की वासुदेव जी, गौर गोपाल दास, डॉक्टर पूज्य ज्ञानेश्वर स्वामी, सतपाल महाराज, इनके सत्संग का भी सबने बहुत अच्छा फायदा लिया है। विशेष रूप से हमारे बॉलीवुड में जो लोकप्रिय कलाकार हैं, सलमान खान, अनिल कपूर, जॉकी श्रॉफ, संजय दत्त, नाना पाटेकर, अभिनेत्री और नृत्यांगना हेमा मालिनी, इनका तो हर साल कहीं ना कहीं सब लोगों ने आकर इसको और अच्छी तरह इसका वैभव बढ़ाया है। जो इंटरनेशनल लेवल के गायक थे, शंकर महादेवन, हरिदेवन, हरिहरन, कविता कृष्णमूर्ति, श्रेया घोषाल, पॉप सिंगर मीका सिंह, अमित त्रिवेदी, मोहित चौहान, सुखविंदर सिंह, कैलाश के, नाम स्वामी, पीयूष मिश्रा, ये संगीतकार की जोड़ी सचिन परंपरा, मनोज तिवारी, अक्षरा सिंह, भोजपुरी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री की और ताल
Right. Of course, also as far as the state of Maharashtra is concerned, and the meetings after meetings that are taking place in order to decide as to who will become the next chief minister of the state after that victory that took place on Saturday. The BJP batting for Devendra Fadnavis as the next chief minister. As the Mahayuti leaders that are going to be travelling to Delhi today, that includes Eknath Shinde as well as Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar to meet with the Home Minister Amit Shah. It's Ajit Pawar who is going to be supporting Fadnavis for the seat of the chief minister, is what we're hearing from our sources, and their discussions that are carrying on as far as the chief minister's face is concerned. Do remember, this was a decision they had said that once the results are out, is only then they'll make this decision as to who will be the chief minister. Ajit Pawar there backing Fadnavis for the seat of the chief minister. BJP leaders pitching for Devendra Fadnavis. Do remember that right now we don't know whether it'll be Devendra Fadnavis or it'll be Eknath Shinde back in the role of the chief minister. That decision that's going to come about as early as tonight, and perhaps when the oath-taking ceremony could perhaps take place tomorrow, is what we're hearing from our sources. So there's a lot of deliberation that's likely, to continue as far as the chief minister's role is concerned, and there could be, a chief minister on rotation. That could be something that they might be considering, given the fact that it's happened in the past, that perhaps for a year and a half or two, have one person in that role and then followed by the other. And of course, the top contenders, like we do know, are of course Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde. So it is there are meetings that are taking place, and both these leaders along with Ajit Pawar are expected to be here in the national capital to have that final meeting with Home Minister, and that is when they will discuss as to, and that announcement that could come about as soon as tonight as to who will be taking on the role of the chief minister. Decision that wasn't taken earlier. They were asked many a times as to who's the front runner as far as the alliance is concerned. But this is a decision they said that they will not take up until the time they win the elections, or up until the time the results are out. As far as the assembly elections of the state is concerned, there you can see Eknath Shinde there. Also, from what we're hearing is that all of them backing Devendra Fadnavis for now. So Devendra Fadnavis could be taking on the role of the chief minister of the state of Maharashtra. This after many meetings that have taken place as of yesterday, meetings on meetings in order to discuss as to who could be in that role of the chief minister. So is it going to be one chief minister, or the chief minister is going to be on rotation, is the big question. Who can be? Of course, it will be one of these two, is what we are hearing from our sources. And something that, the alliance is keeping close to its chest at the moment, from what we're really hearing, is that it is Devendra Fadnavis who seems to be getting the support and backing of Ajit Pawar as well. And this is something that we're hearing as well as Eknath Shinde, who seems to be batting also for, this is something that we just have to wait and watch as to who will then finally emerge as the chief minister of the state of Maharashtra. So it is Shiv Sena saying that Shinde's welfare schemes, they've been the reason why they won with such a huge majority. This is the reason why the key factor when it comes to the winning the assembly elections as far as Maharashtra is concerned. So there are deliberations that are going on within the alliance in order to finally come up with that announcement, an announcement that everyone is waiting to know as to who will now finally emerge as the chief minister. Will there be one chief minister, or will there be two chief ministers, those two top contenders in rotation? So a very crucial meeting that's coming up here in the national capital, and this crucial meeting that is going to be regarding the government formation as to who is going to be the leader of this alliance in that landslide victory as far as the Mahayuti alliance is concerned, that have gone ahead and secured 235 of the 288 seats in the Maharashtra assembly elections. The Maha Vikas Aghadi, the opposition bloc, which comprises of the Congress, the Shiv Sena and the NCP, they won only 49 seats. The BJP 131 seats that they contested in, with the Shiv Sena and the NCP winning 57 and 41 seats for the NCP in the assembly elections. So at the moment, of course, discussions that continue in regard to will it be Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis taking on the role of the Chief Minister, or will it be Eknath Shinde back in the role of the Chief Minister for a second term, is the question that everyone is asking, the question on everyone's mind. It is Mr. Fadnavis and other leaders who were welcomed by Nitin Gadkari, of course. It is a meeting that's going to be held today in the national capital by Home Minister Amit Shah, who will then finally be taking that decision. Of course, from what we are hearing at the moment is that it is Ajit Pawar, who's completely backing the idea of Devendra Fadnavis taking on that very role of the Chief Minister. Radhika joining us. Radhika, what are you hearing from your sources? What's the very latest? Is there, we do know who the two top contenders are. Could it be one of the two or may perhaps both in rotation?
That's right. A lot of deliberations and discussions going on as far as Chief Ministerial post is concerned. Yes, they are considering a rotational post, but not entirely certain if that will be agreed upon by all the party leaders and members. We know for a fact that all three parties held individual party meetings yesterday. Eknath Shinde was chosen as the legislative party leader. Ajit Pawar also chosen as the legislative party leader of the NCP. And today, of course, Fadnavis will be chosen as the legislative party leader of BJP. However, who is going to be the Chief Minister is the next big question. We know for a fact that Devendra Fadnavis wields a lot of influence. He's instrumental in the kind of victory that BJP saw. Few numbers short of a majority, and he'd been behind, the brain behind several of the schemes as well. At the same time, Eknath Shinde, a grassroots level leader, wields a lot of influence in both rural and urban pockets, again being credited for Ladki Behan scheme and several such schemes. So therefore, both are the front runners at this point. But what we are hearing is that Ajit Pawar is in support of Devendra Fadnavis being the Chief Minister. There is a possibility that there could be a joint meeting of all three leaders with Amit Shah, perhaps today or tomorrow. So there will be some sort of consensus reached, but all the party leaders are denying any sort of rifts, bickering or disputes as far as Chief Ministerial post is concerned. They say discussions and meetings are going on to come to some sort of understanding. Will it be Eknath Shinde? Will he retain the position, or will Devendra Fadnavis, who has been given the credit for Mahayuti's victory, once again take over as the Chief Minister, or will it be on a rotational basis? All this will become clear in a day or two.
Right, of course, Devendra Fadnavis, who had taken on the role of the Deputy Chief Minister in the previous term. Take us to the role that Ajit Pawar plays as to who will finally then emerge as the Chief Minister.
As far as Ajit Pawar's role is concerned, it is very instrumental, of course, because in case there is some sort of bickering or dispute, we know for a fact that BJP is just a few numbers short of majority. So they clearly don't need both the parties in order to form the government. I mean, this is, of course, the extreme scenario. So if it's just BJP and NCP, they could still form the government without the help of Sena, if Sena is adamant that they want a chief ministerial post. Again, I'm talking about an extreme scenario. In that case, Ajit Pawar's role will become instrumental. If he supports Devendra Fadnavis as the chief minister, then a government can be formed with the help of Ajit Pawar's leaders. And all three parties have performed exceedingly well in terms of strike rate, in terms of the number of winning candidates and so on. So yes, Ajit Pawar's role is very, very critical in this juncture. We also know for a fact that he may not be vying for chief ministerial post at this point because front runner certainly is Devendra Fadnavis, and then of course Eknath Shinde. They've been credited for Ladki Behan scheme, all the infrastructure development schemes and several other guarantees promised and implemented by Mahayuti Sarkar. But Ajit Pawar, at this point, what we are given to understand is backing Devendra Fadnavis as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, and we're seeing posters all around. There are Sena posters which is putting Eknath Shinde in the top post, and there are posters that have come up not just in Mumbai but also in Nagpur, which is Fadnavis's a place with posters of him being touted as the next chief minister. How things will pan out? Will they come to an understanding? Because we know that Eknath Shinde, through by way of sources, we are getting to understand that Eknath Shinde is not ready to step down, not ready to sort of vacate that position as yet. So,
Radhika, just hold that thought. We have breaking news coming in at the moment.
It will take a day or two before the decision is.
And the opposition MPs have written to the Lok Sabha Speaker. They are seeking more time, is what we are hearing. This is the breaking news coming in. They need more consultation as far as their stakeholders are concerned. And we have my colleague Maria joining us to get us more on this. Maria, take us through this breaking news of the opposition MPs writing to the Lok Sabha Speaker.
Yes, that's right. So they have sought an extension of the joint working committee, which is the JPC on Work Amendment Bill. It is said in that letter that the committee has held only 25 sittings, and that has included evidence presentations by various organizations and individuals. And they would need more time because it requires more expansive, consultations. And a mere 3 months' time before the report is finalized is not only inadequate, is what they are saying, but may result in improper recommendations. And that is the reason why they are saying that in order for proper consultations and deliberations, the committee's tenure must be extended by a reasonable time. Is the chairman of this committee, who is Mr. Jagdambika Pal, in sync with this? That remains to be seen, but opposition MPs certainly seeking more time. They are of the opinion that this is a very crucial legislation which requires, far more consultation, and because this changes in this will affect large sections of Indian population.
Right. Thank you so much, Maria, for getting us all those details in regard to the opposition MPs. They're writing to the Lok Sabha, demanding and seeking actually more time in order to consult their stakeholders in this is in regard to this breaking news that has just come in. Switching tracks now to another issue that's going to be taken up as far as the Parliament session is concerned is the air pollution here in the national capital. That is something that the opposition is going to be taking up. But today it is the Supreme Court that will decide whether to continue or not with the emergency measures that are in place. And we're talking about GRAP 4 measures, the Graded Response Action Plan 4 measures that are in place as far as Delhi is concerned. We have my colleague Sunil Prabhu joining us. Sunil, of course, it is the Supreme Court that had, last time around said that it will be the Supreme Court that will decide whether these measures will stay in place and for how long these measures will stay in place. What can we expect from court today?
Well, the things that you can definitely expect is the fact that the Supreme Court is looking at lifting those emergency measures. The situation definitely has improved. The CAQM has also recommended it to be gradually brought down. And it's in that backdrop that, the Supreme Court has made it clear that they will look at those aspects. There is a fluctuation in some areas where it is very severe. In some places, it's poor, very poor, and we are happy with poor or very poor grades in terms of in New Delhi, because that's the kind of level the air quality is at this present juncture. So it's in this backdrop that the Supreme Court will hear and take a final call on this matter. Also, that there have been 13, court commissioners who are appointed to look at various entry points, the kind of monitoring that is taking place with trucks and vehicles coming into the city. So all that will be reviewed. Apart from, of course, at a later stage, they'll look at other issues. For example, the permanent ban on crackers, the stubble burning, and various other factors. But at present, the emergency measures, whether it should be lifted, which is most likely, so we can expect some kind of relief, but we'll wait for the Supreme Court to hear this matter in a few days.
Right. Sunil, the big question is, are we going to go back into the gas chamber, given the fact that this is perhaps on accord of those measures, coupled with the fact that the weather has, sort of improved in terms of whether the sun coming out or the winds picking up speed, etc. And of course, this is an issue that's going to be taken up in the Parliament as well. Let's listen into what Ranjit Ranjan had to say.
400, 500, 600 जो AQI है, एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स है, हम दिल्ली में जहरीली सांस ले रहे हैं, जहरीला खाना खा रहे हैं और काम कर रहे हैं, पैसा कमा रहे हैं, लेकिन बदले में हम अपने आप को जहर दे रहे हैं, अस्थमा दे रहे हैं, बीमारियां दे रहे हैं. तो ये बहुत गंभीर विषय है और हम सब चाहते हैं कि इस विषय पर चर्चा ही नहीं हो, पॉलिटिकल विल होना चाहिए. मुझे लगता है कि अपने देश को एयर पोल्यूशन से बचाना बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है.
And with that, of course, our fight for pollution will continue on NDTV. We will keep tracking that story and getting you the very latest. For now, we're slipping into a very short break.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro. World's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India, beating all its competition. NDTV stands for trust.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
Our $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
It's a web of frauds, calls, luring emails, threatening messages. Cyber frauds have cast their net wide and everyone is at risk. We track the victims, their horror stories as they get conned online, extorted and robbed of their hard-earned money. How to identify a cyber fraud and how to stay cyber safe. What are your options? Fraud.con, NDTV initiative for cyber safety. Only on NDTV 24/7.
हम ये चुनाव विकास के मुद्दे पर लड़ रहे हैं.
Let them come for an open debate with me. I've challenged Eknath Shinde multiple times.
Congress is in the worst situation in this state.
महायुति में भी इससे ज़्यादा dispute है.
Everything is fair in love and politics.
वोट देने वाले ही जिताने वाले हैं ना.
So we worked on 4 options.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here. Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you. NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both
Welcome back. Let's get you the very latest, and this is from the markets that are up. The Indian stock markets that rallied this morning on 2 consecutive days of gains, whether it's the Nifty and the Sensex, that's helped them turn positive on a monthly basis. This comes after both the Nifty and the Sensex recorded losses in the month of October. So the Indian stock markets rallied this morning after the BJP-led NDA secured that massive victory in the assembly elections in Maharashtra, which houses the country's financial capital, Mumbai. All 13 major sectors logged gains, and the broader, more domestically focused small and mid caps rose about 2% each. Adani Group stocks also posted a significant gain during the morning trade. We're talking about the Adani Energy leading the rebound. As far as the Adani Group stocks, they have surged. A strong recovery by the Adani Group companies, and there is Adani Energy that is leading the rebound, as well as from what most of the Adani Group stocks rose at open, with Adani Energy and Adani Green rising the most. And the Adani Group of companies touted the financial and credit details of its portfolio companies to investors, showcasing its robust profits and cash flows that can sustain growth without reliance on external debt. Equity now accounts for almost 2/3 of its total asset creation, a stark contrast to 5 years ago. And in the past 6 months, the group invested close to 75,227 crore rupees against a total debt increase of only 16,882 crore rupees. And my colleague Anushi has all the details.
So for Adani portfolio, let's just break this down in different brackets. Now, first we are seeing about how the EBITDA, about the cash flows, about the debt levels, and what this could mean for the business forward. So firstly, over the last 12 months, we are seeing an EBITDA growth of about 17% to $10 billion, which means strong EBITDA growth levels have sustained over the last 4 quarters that we are looking at. This has translated into the cash flows, also $7 billion of cash flows for the last 12 months, a 30% growth that we've seen in the last 5 years. So growth in cash flows from operation is strong and has also sustained, as we've mentioned about EBITDA. So net debt to EBITDA now, if you look at, that has remained in the 2.46 times, which is lower than what the company has given its guidance for. So this suggests reasonable levels for asset heavy infra companies. That is what we are looking at for. Liquidity position also across the portfolio companies remains strong, with sufficient funds to cover all the debt repayments within the next 12 months that we are looking at. So healthy liquidity to cover the debt repayments. Now, these debt is to be repaid for each year until FY34 is less than the cash flow for the last 12 months. This means that even current cash flows are assuming no growth at these levels should be sufficient enough to cover all these debt payments that we are looking at. Asset base, if we look at, that has increased by $9 billion to $60 billion in H1 FY25. That's the first half of fiscal year 25. During the same period, gross debt has increased by over $2 billion. So we are seeing a significant increase in asset base as compared to the debt levels. So 80% of this base is funded through internally and not through debt also that we are looking at. Equity now counts for about 63% of total debt, showing about lower dependence on debt that we are looking at. Now, if you are to see the exposure to the Indian banks, at USD $11 billion, this is 42% of today's debt. So companies have cash of about $6 billion, most of which is parked with Indian banks. So this means net exposure to Indian banks is much lower than what is perceived in the market, since more than 50% of the debt is cash lying in the Indian banks. So this is the overall update that we are looking for the Adani portfolio.
And it's the winter session of the Parliament that started early this morning, during which 3 key bills are scheduled. Of course, at the moment, both houses of the Parliament are adjourned till about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. The winter session will continue till the 20th of December. In this session, the Waqf Amendment Bill and the Disaster Management Amendment Bill is among the bills that are likely to be considered for discussion. It is the opposition that has, in fact, written to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha asking for more time. That is, they are seeking more time because they require more time on the matter. And just ahead of the winter session was the Parliament. It was the Prime Minister who addressed the nation ahead of the Parliament winter session. He went on to say that it's been 75 years since we adopted the Constitution. He's also urged everyone, and he's hoping for healthy debates and participation as well as contribution from maximum members of both the houses. The Prime Minister has also attacked the opposition in his address ahead of the beginning of that winter session, saying that they are blinded by self-centered agenda, hitting out at the opposition, saying that they are not in sync with what the expectations of the people really are. Let's listen in.
हर पीढ़ी का काम है आने वाली पीढ़ियों को तैयार करे, लेकिन 80-80, 90-90 बार जनता ने जिनको लगातार नकार दिया है, वे न संसद में चर्चा होने देते हैं, न लोकतंत्र की भावना का सम्मान करते हैं, न ही वह लोगों की आकांक्षाओं का कोई महत्व समझते हैं, उनका उसके प्रति कोई दायित्व है वो कोई समझ पाते हैं। और उसका परिणाम है वो जनता की उम्मीदों पर कभी भी खरे नहीं उतरते हैं और परिणाम स्वरूप जनता को बार बार उनको रिजेक्ट करना पड़ रहा है।
Right, and of course, during this session and the Prime Minister's jibe at the opposition is concerned, well, it is the opposition that are saying, that's gone to say that it's the latest poll results are not a referendum, and that the opposition also wants the smooth functioning as far as the parliament session is concerned. But also Karthi Chidambaram pointing out that the recent results are not really a national trend, and it's the BJP that won a few states. But Karthi Chidambaram has gone on to say that even the Congress party has. Let's listen in.
Well, joining with me, senior Congress leader Karthi Chidambaram. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to us. Prime Minister, on the first day of the winter session of Parliament, stressed upon the smooth functioning of Parliament. He stated that some people are self-centric and they want to stall the Parliament. How do you respond?
I agree with the Prime Minister. We must have smooth running of Parliament, but in Parliament also, the opposition must also have the space to raise issues of national concern. While we give adjournment motions, not one adjournment motion is admitted. So if the government, while it has its numbers, must allow the opposition to have its say while they can have their way. But you must give us space also to raise issues of importance which we deem fit.
So he attacked the Congress party as well. He stated that now 70-80 times the Congress leadership had been defeated. It is now new people who wanted to bring their discussions in the Parliament. They should be given space.
See, if the Prime Minister is alluding to the results of a day before yesterday, I hope he noticed the results in Jharkhand, and hope he noticed the results of the by-elections in Karnataka, and hope he noticed the results of the by-elections in Madhya Pradesh. It's been a mixed bag. We have won some, they have won some. There's no national trend. Each state votes differently. There are different issues in different states. There are different political grammars in different states, and people vote differently. In fact, there were 2 by-elections for Lok Sabha seats, and in both the seats, the Congress party has won. So can I say that is again a rejection of the government of the day, because we won both those by-elections in Nanded and in Wayanad. So there is no national trend. There are all state-specific issues, constituency-specific issues, which seem to have determined this election.
And at that very start of the Parliament session, well, it was TDP MP from Vizianagaram who wanted to put out a larger message when it comes to the air pollution crisis here in the national capital. In fact, he took a cycle to the Parliament. Let's listen in to what the TDP MP had to say.
Well, we are reporting from the Parliament, and just behind me you can see heavy smog and air pollution is at its peak. Parliament session begins from today, and this MP named Appala Naidu Kalisetti, he is from Vizianagaram, Andhra Pradesh, had taken his cycle out, and now he had taken his cycle and came to the Parliament. Sir, you have taken once again your cycle out and came to the Parliament. We are inside the Parliament and there is heavy smog, air pollution is at its peak. What message you want to give to the people in large who are using vehicles, who are using transportation that causes pollution in larger?
Yes, especially first and member of Parliament leaders, all leaders and MPs and ministers, give me message or public pollution. Firstly, cycle. Next, all public and using definitely message to speaker. Please, public, all public pollution control in Delhi.
Will your party also raise this important issue inside the Parliament of your party?
Yes, I am Telugudesam Party, Chandrababu Naidu ji. Definitely, my party symbol cycle. All issues, Parliament, Andhra Pradesh issues also.
And let's just also listen in to what Manikam Tagore had to say. Well, he has spoken about how it is a Congress who is going to be taking up that issue as far as the state of Manipur is concerned during this winter session.
Parliament is allowed by the treasury benches to function.
So what about the Waqf Bill amendment? How will the opposition, debate this in the Parliament?
We know that the Parliament joint committee has become a BJP committee, and the whole purpose of the committee has got destroyed because of the approach of the BJP, and we all feel that there is an attempt by the BJP to divide this country, spread hatred, spread anti-minority sentiments in the people's mind. Prime Minister Modi himself is leading that thing, but we will fight for those this kind of anti-minority and anti-Dalit stand of the government. We will continue to rise for those oppressed sections.
So you brought about the communal violence in Sambal. Speaking about Manipur as well, if you could tell us, Manipur has been burning for so long, and how is the opposition planning to look forward to tackle into that matter as well? We
had been demanding for a Manipur discussion on Manipur, and the government previous session also we asked the Prime Minister to visit Manipur. Prime Minister Modi was not ready to visit Manipur. Amit Shah ji has not gone after the recent violence also. It is very disturbing that Prime Minister and Home Minister is running away from Manipur's real issues. The hate in Manipur is an issue, and we continue to stand with this for the brotherhood and the peace in Manipur.
And there's clash as far as the Constitution Day is concerned. Mega celebrations, do remember, have been planned, but now it's the India bloc that has written to the Speaker asking for the opposition leaders, the leaders of opposition, to be invited for the event as well. And we have Vasudha joining us. Vasudha, a major event, of course, a major celebration planned for the 75 years of the Constitution, and it is, the Constitution Day, also known as a Samvidhan Divas Day, that's, always observed on the 26th of November, marking the adoption as far as the Indian Constitution in 1949 by the Constituent Assembly. And here it is the India bloc leaders now saying that they also want to be part of the event.
Absolutely, Divya. If you look at, the political developments in the last few months, ever since in the run-up to 2024 Lok Sabha elections, the Constitution has been a major point of contention, with each party saying that the other party is trying to undermine constitutional values. In fact, 2024 Lok Sabha elections was largely centered around who protects the Constitution better. And we saw the same thing play out in the Maharashtra elections also. But of course, the results were reversed here, with the BJP mounting a very aggressive campaign that it's the Congress that's trying to spread fake narratives on this. What is going to happen now tomorrow is, of course, a symbolic, mega celebration of the Indian Constitution, the kind of founding values, the kind of values our founding fathers centered it around. In fact, at 1 o'clock today, the the centre will actually hold a press conference with the Culture Minister, Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Kiran Rijiju, Culture Minister, Gajendra Shekhawat, and they will reveal their plans to celebrate the ethos of Indian Constitution. But the opposition has also made it very clear that they also want to be part of this. That is why they've told the Speaker, they've requested the Speaker, they've urged the Speaker that the LOPs, the leader of opposition parties, should also be invited as speakers in this very important function. The other symbolic aspect of it is that it's happening in the old Parliament's central hall, which has for years been, symbolic and reflective of our democratic principles, the kind of space that the Parliament holds in Indian democracy. So clearly, tomorrow is going to be possibly one of the biggest flashpoints of the winter session of the Parliament.
Right, take us through, this event that's been planned as far as the central hall of the old Parliament building is concerned in order to mark the 75 years.
Absolutely. This function is going to happen in the Central Hall of the Parliament. We are told that they'll have speakers, who will talk about the importance of the Indian Constitution, the way it was framed. And remember, even in NDTV Samvidhan Summit yesterday, Kiran Rijiju, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, talked about how the idea was originated by the Prime Minister's own thinking. In fact, he, as a young political leader, used to emphasize on the importance of Constitution. So this is something that the government holds very dear to itself. And at the same time, the opposition does not want to let go of its opportunity to showcase itself as the only party that only alliance that actually is capable of protecting the Constitution, especially when it comes to the reservation policy and the rights of the deprived sections of people.
Right, a commemorative coin and a stamp will also be released, Vasudha, on that very occasion to mark the 75 years. And of course, now the leader of opposition there writing to the Speaker saying that they would also want to be part of that event that's going to be taking place in the Central Hall at the old Parliament building. Thank you so much, Vasudha, for joining us. Also, when we, in fact, let's just also talk about Maharashtra now. And it is Praful Patel who has gone on to say that there is no problem when it comes to the alliance and that the same formula will stay in place of one chief minister and two deputy chief ministers. Let's listen into this exclusive interview with Praful Patel.
Well, joining with me, senior leader of NCP, Praful Patel. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to us after the bumper victory in the state of Maharashtra. Now, can you put a pause on all those speculations that are going on the rounds about the chief minister's ways not being decided amongst the three alliance partners?
See, we have comprehensively won Maharashtra as the NDA Mahayuti, and there is no difference between the three parties. We worked excellently. We had a little setback in the Lok Sabha for various other reasons, but this time all the three parties, all the workers worked with each other hand in hand, and we won the elections. We won the confidence of the people of Maharashtra, and this is a spectacular victory, unprecedented. That's why it puts much more responsibility on us to behave and act responsibly. I don't see any problem. The issue of formation of government will be resolved in the next few days.
Sir, Prime Minister today also spoke and attacked the Congress party specifically. They stated that a lot of the Congress leaders, the senior leaders, do not give opportunities to the new young MPs inside this.
Well, now, I have not heard the speech, so I don't want to say that. But I can also tell you, as a Congress party, in Maharashtra at least I have seen, it has self-imploded because, they just don't have the right leadership. They don't know the pulse of the people, and they are living in some kind of a la-la land and believing that, they were leading the pack to form the government. In fact, कौन बनेगा मुख्यमंत्री ये फॉर्मूला हमारे लिए नहीं था, उनके लिए था जो काल्पनिक चुनाव अभी हुआ नहीं था। चुनाव के पहले ही उन्होंने अपने मुख्यमंत्री की बंदरबाट शुरू कर दी थी। तो ये तो हास्यास्पद बात है। वक्त और बताएगा कि ये और कहाँ जाएंगे।
फॉर्मूला विल बी द सेम, वन चीफ मिनिस्टर।
हमारे सरकार जो आज है उसमें एक मुख्यमंत्री, दो उप मुख्यमंत्री हैं, तो स्वाभाविक है कि तीन पार्टी होने से ये फॉर्मूला लगभग हमारा आगे भी कायम रहेगा।
And the winter session of the Parliament that started this morning with three key bills that were coming up for discussion. Do remember that both the houses have been adjourned till 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and that is minutes from now. At the moment, the houses have been adjourned, but the winter session is expected to continue till the 20th of December, and of course it is the opposition party that is expected to bring about issues such as the situation in Manipur, also the Waqf bill, and of course it's the Prime Minister urging all members of the Parliament to participate in a very peaceful manner, and also the participation and contribution from the maximum members of the Parliament is what the Prime Minister has asked for, while taking a dig at the opposition party, saying that the opposition is blinded by self-centered agenda. We have my colleague Aishwarya joining us. Aishwarya, of course, both the houses have been adjourned, but take us through, what the Prime Minister really said before the start of the session.
Well, in a customary speech before the winter session started, it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi who stated about the adoption of constitution and how tomorrow it would be celebrated across the country, but also attacked the Congress party and the opposition parties, took a dig at the Congress party as far as the recent Maharashtra polls are concerned, where they faced a huge setback. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stated that the Congress party and the opposition is blinded by self-centric agenda. New MPs should be given an impulse to opportunities that is being taken away from some of the leaders of the Congress party. In fact, Prime Minister also stated that opposition are not in sync with people's expectation, and they have got the payback that they deserve. As far as the smooth functioning parliament is concerned, Prime Minister stated that few of the people have self-centric agenda and they want to stall the parliament. There should be healthy debates in the parliament, and a lot of attention went to the disruption in the earlier sessions, and that should not be done. Of course, we have to respect people's wishes in a democracy, and that's where Prime Minister clearly gave a strong message at the beginning of the winter session of Parliament. But of course, the opposition parties clearly has stated that if they submit the adjournment motions, that is a part of the parliamentary democracy and there is nothing wrong into it. The nation's interest should be kept in mind as far as the adjournment motions are concerned, and the government should take up those adjournment motions if they are not. So yes, there are different opinions within the opposition bloc and these treasury benches as well. But how smooth the parliament function works in this winter session as well is something that remains to be seen. But at the beginning of the winter session itself, we saw how on the day one there were opposition MPs who raised many slogans, and therefore the reason perhaps both the houses were adjourned. Rajya Sabha reconvened now, but Lok Sabha will reconvene at around 12 noon.
Right. Thank you so much, Aishwarya, for joining us with those details. And moving on now, today is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and a pledge for men and boys to respect and protect women is turning into a movement. The idea is to bring about a change as far as the attitude among men and boys is concerned, and for which we have popular star Revati talking us through promoting this initiative called PEN.
And the pledge is very simple. It says, I pledge to oppose all forms of violence against women. I promise to respect, support, and listen to women in my community. Together we can create a world where everyone feels safe and valued. I think that is very important, to be valued. So everybody, every male takes a pledge, and every woman asks their male friends or male companions to take the same pledge. If every man respects and safeguards the women around them in the community, or at least supports them and lets them, gives them the space to speak, automatically the world will become a very safe place. World will become a space where there is gender equality.
And also promote fairness, treat sons and daughters equally in terms of opportunities, discipline and praise. Avoid favoritism or imposing different expectations based on gender. These small, consistent actions can help create a home environment where respect and equality are the norm, providing a strong foundation for boys to carry these values into the broader world. Teach boundaries and consent from an early age. Teach boys to respect personal space and listen when someone says no. Model this behavior within the family, such as asking for permission or checking in on comfort levels.
And with that, we're taking a very short break. Back with a whole lot more on the other side with my colleague Osama. Do stay with us. Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
So a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
It's a web of frauds, calls, luring emails, threatening messages. Cyber frauds have cast their net wide and everyone is at risk. We track the victims, their horror stories as they get conned online, extorted and robbed of their hard-earned money. How to identify a cyber fraud and how to stay cyber safe. What are your options? Fraud.con, NDTV initiative for cyber safety. Only on NDTV 24/7.
हम ये चुनाव विकास के मुद्दे पर लड़ रहे हैं।
Let them come for an open debate with me. I've challenged Eknath Shinde multiple times.
Congress is in the worst situation in this state.
महायुति में भी इससे ज्यादा डिस्प्यूट है.
Everything is fair in love and politics.
वोट देने वाले ही जिताने वाले हैं ना.
So we worked on 4 options.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora, we cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the topmost news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
So a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party,
It's a web of frauds, calls, luring emails, threatening messages. Cyber frauds have cast their net wide and everyone is at risk. We track the victims, their horror stories as they get conned online, extorted and robbed of their hard-earned money. How to identify a cyber fraud and how to stay cyber safe. What are your options? Fraud.con, NDTV initiative for cyber safety. Only on NDTV 24/7.
हम ये चुनाव विकास के मुद्दे पर लड़ रहे हैं।
Let them come for an open debate with me. I've challenged Eknath Shinde multiple times.
Congress is in the worst situation in this state.
महायुति में भी इससे ज्यादा डिस्प्यूट है.
Everything is fair in love and politics.
Nifty and Sensex turned positive, trade nearly 2% up after both the indices recorded losses in the month of October. The Adani Group stocks rally and rebound from the last week as well. The Adani Group portfolio companies posted a record first half in the ongoing financial year, as well as trailing 12 months performance led by its incubating businesses with limited net exposure to Indian banks. It is the first day of the winter session of the Parliament. Prime Minister Modi targets the opposition over the recent poll results. Prime Minister says that people rejected opposition multiple times. Congress, in the meanwhile, retorts, saying recent poll results are not a referendum. A big face-off over Constitution Day today as government plans mega Constitution Day celebration. Opposition rise to the Lok Sabha Speaker say that leaders of opposition must be invited for the event. Deliberations and discussions on Maharashtra Chief Minister selections to continue. Top contenders Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde likely to reach Delhi today to hold meetings with Amit Shah. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shab. There's a lot that is going on with respect to the markets today. The Indian stock markets, they rallied this morning. 2 consecutive days of gains in Nifty and Sensex have helped them turn positive on a monthly basis. This comes after both the indices recorded losses in the month of October. Remember, Indian stock markets rallied this morning after the BJP-led NDA secured a massive victory in the assembly elections in Maharashtra, which houses the country's financial capital, Mumbai. All the 13 major sectors, they also logged gains. The broader, more domestically focused small and mid caps, they also rose about 2% each. In fact, I'm also currently joined by my colleague, Maria Shakil, who's standing outside the parliament there. Maria, take it away.
All right, Osama, as you said, the markets are certainly showing a lot of confidence, and the fact that there has been a landslide victory of the BJP-led Mahayuti, which will ensure political stability in Maharashtra, is reflecting in investor sentiment also, which is showing that high in markets. The Nifty and Sensex both going up. There has been a jump in both the indices. But what is becoming clear is, why is this happening? Remember, Maharashtra is the economic heart of India and Mumbai is the financial capital. Maharashtra contributes the maximum to GST when it comes to the centre's kitty. And that is the reason why political messaging is actually leading to this kind of economic surge, or should I say investor sentiment going positive as well. One aspect of is the biggest conglomerate, among the big conglomerates, is Adani portfolio. How is that faring? Let me go straight to Harsh, who's joining us live. And we also have my colleague Himanshu, who tracks markets for us. But a word from Harsh first, and then I bring in Himanshu.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Maria, for that. Of course, markets buoyant today, and a few pockets which are doing relatively well in trade. I want to quickly mark them out. One is, of course, the Nifty Bank, which is up 2%, driving, therefore, markets higher. Mind you, the Fin Nifty also doing very, very well. Fin Nifty largely comprising 40% of the Nifty, and therefore, any traction there obviously reflects on the Nifty as well. Outside of that, in the broader markets, the Nifty Realty Index is doing very well, understandably so. More stability in the largest, or rather the financial hub, financial capital of the country, clearly indicating positivity for the real estate pack, because it will likely mean that real estate deals which have been closed will continue. There will be momentum there. Infra deals which have been closed will continue. There will be momentum there as well. And that also percolating on the Adani group of stocks, which saw a bit of a muted performance last week. But this week, you're seeing good rebound across the board where the Adani portfolio is concerned. Why is that so? Because the fundamentals there remain solid. You've seen 17% kind of EBITDA growth, which is earnings before interest, depreciation, and taxes. That growth has come through on a year-on-year basis. In fact, when you're looking at free cash flow as well, which is the common metric that investors generally judge companies by, it's grown at 30% compounded annually over the last 5 years. And therefore, there is some bit of robustness where cash flows and visibility of cash flows is concerned. Last off, I want to touch upon debt because that has been one concern, likely concern that the street has had. But brushing that off, the Adani Group has put out a release suggesting that till FY34, the debt repayments that are going to happen every single year are largely going to be covered by the current year cash flow itself. So the current year cash flow, if even where there is zero growth for the next 10 years, should be adequate to cover year on year the debt repayments which are going out. So there's a lot of comfort with regard to debt repayments as well. And therefore, you're seeing that kind of strong performance from Adani Group stocks in trade today.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us and getting us that quick update. Himanshu, a word on Adani portfolio, because healthy liquidity certainly means that there would be cover of debt payments, repayments, if I may say, and political messaging of stability, because across Maharashtra there was this buzz around stability. If there's a government which completes 5 years in office, it reflects on the markets, and that's what we are seeing today.
That's right. We saw in Maharashtra election campaign, both central leaders and state leaders, they campaigned together. And there was a message of unity among the Mahayuti camp. And I think that got the mandate from the people. And when a government, a party which is in power in Delhi, and a party which is also power in the state, if they get such resounding verdict,
right,
it's a reflection of people's support. It's a mandate for continuing the governance reforms, the economic reforms. And as you very rightly said, that Maharashtra economically is the most important Indian state with the maximum contribution of GST to the centre's kitty. That essentially is a reflection now, what we see in stock market today, is a reflection of the support from investors. This verdict has assured the investors that this is a government, both in centre and state, they're going to work in unison and they'll work for the development of Maharashtra and the...
And this is the government which means business.
The government which means business,
Yes.
the government which has a track record of good performance in the last 11 years. India remains the fastest growing economy in the world. And there are projections that by 2025-26, India will be third largest economy. So this political stability essentially means that all these reform processes that have been initiated at the central and state level will continue. There will be continuity in that.
Yes.
The reflection of the fact that Adani shares have gone up is also very important because there have been allegations against Adani Group in US. And we have seen lots of politics here
Around
on this
it.
issue around it. But this surge in Adani shares, I will just give you some figures. When the market opened, the Adani Energy recorded the highest increase of 6.5%, Adani Green Energy 4.24%, Adani Total Gas 3.37%, and Adani Ports, I was just watching a few minutes back, was 4% increase. On the portfolio side, just 2 points I want to make. This is a reflection of the fact that companies' financial health is very strong. This is a reflection of the continuing investors' confidence in Adani companies' financial
That's right.
health. And just two things. Funds from operations at $7 billion for the last 12 months. I'm just reading some few facts. Growth at over 30% for the past 5 years. And importantly, the point that you made, the liquidity position across our portfolio companies remains strong with sufficient liquidity to cover all debt obligations, including refinancing for the next 12 months plus 1 day. What it means, healthy liquidity to cover to address debt. And this is a reflection that you see in the market.
Yes, and the fundamentals of this company is strong, and that is the reason why we are seeing this rebounding of sorts. Sanjay Asher is joining us. We also have Anant, who's the founder of Invest Aaj for Kal. Sanjay, coming to you, we are looking at some details here, and the fact is that the net exposure to Indian banking is lower than perceived. That's also a fact here. Why is it that it is seen otherwise with regards to Adani portfolio?
No, now the market has considered all the debt of
the Adani Group, the domestic debt. They have studied what implications will arise out of the US litigation. They have understood as to what will happen going forward. And having regard to all the facts and circumstances, having regard to the external debt, having regard to the internal debt and the assets, market has studied all of that in the last 3 or 4 days. And then the results are what we can see today in the increase in the Adani Group share price. So the point which I'm trying to make here is that
Okay, and Anand, you know yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Sanjay, go
I'm
ahead.
only saying that stock exchange is the barometer of an economy. Similarly, stock exchange is also the barometer for each of the company's health position as far as the growth is concerned, as far as debt is concerned, as far as assets is concerned, as far as profitability is concerned. So if there is a considered study and thereafter the share prices of all the entities, including the Adani entities, have gone up, that would mean that the health of Adani Group as also the health of other entities is quite healthy.
Anand, come in on this. The fact here is that the EBITDA growth has been strong as well. So when we look at, how there has been an entire shift in terms of growth without debt has been almost like the mantra of how this entire portfolio has been functioning. This particular barometer, how should that be viewed?
Hi, firstly, thank you so much for having me on the show. Due to compliance reason and compliance issues, I won't be able to comment stock specific and give stock specific advice or tip. I just have one line to say in this matter that Adani Group's stock fell because there were some compliance issues in US. We still are waiting for some clarity from that side. As an trader, as an investor, do make sure that you study properly and then make any decision, because making any decision in haste won't be good for your portfolio. Due to compliance issue, I cannot give any stock specific advice or tip. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so when we look at, Anand, overall how the markets are faring today, and that is reflecting on multiple companies and across multiple sectors, that's also an indication of how there is a great degree of investor confidence post the results which have come in, which is in favor of the BJP, the party which is largely seen as investor friendly, business friendly.
Absolutely right. See, market has already corrected 10% from the top. Secondly, FIs were regularly selling. Market was looking for a trigger for bounce back, and having the same government as center is always good for the market as far as stability is concerned. Next few months, we don't have any major indication or any major event, and I personally feel that capex probably will be a key area which even government will be focusing on. And whenever there is capex in the market, I feel probably results even are better than expected. So my all eyes will be on the results of next quarter. And if we see good amount of capex, I am quite positive and looking forward to it.
Okay, so, Sanjay, coming back to you, one aspect and one of the important, highlights is that the asset base of this company has grown by nearly $9 billion. Do you think these are essentially about the fundamentals, how the base is solid, and that is what is being repeatedly seen in these kind of rebounds?
I would think so, because if the assets are robust and if there is a growth in the assets, then surely one can come to a conclusion that there is a strong foundation which is there, a strong fundamental which is there, and hence the market is paying for the strong fundamental or for the strong foundation.
And overall, the cash flow, when we look at it, there has been a growth in cash flow operations as well to this company. So all those, the concerns which have been there around that, how do you think those all have been addressed as well?
I would tend to think so. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to come back to both of you in just a bit. Let me bring in Himanshu again. Himanshu, when we look at the overall, the surge in the markets, we'll wait, of course, on how markets close. But the fundamentals of the company are the drivers of that company. Despite the controversy one after the other, the company continues to register that surge and at the same time rebound when after a major blip.
That's right. Even when last time when there was a Hindenburg controversy, we saw that market stood with the Adani group of companies. That was again a support for the strong fundamentals, that point that you're repeatedly making. And as we discussed, just to put some facts, the Adani portfolio, how it has performed in last 12 months. A note has been issued today, and I'll just put some facts before you to say why, despite all these allegations, the support of investors continues with the Adani Group. One, fund from operations at $7 billion for the last 12 months, are growing at over 30% for the past 5 years. What it means is growth in cash flow from operation is strong and it has sustained. That means the growth in Adani Group of companies are sustainable. They've sustained in last 12 months. Now the debt, the burden is going down gradually as the profits go up. The cash flow is good, as it says. The liquidity position across all portfolio companies remains strong, with sufficient liquidity to cover all debt obligations, including refinancing for the next 12 months plus 1 day. What it means, healthy liquidity to address debt. Now, it also says that the asset base of the company has increased by $9 billion to $60 billion in H1 FY25. That is a very, very strong message that financial health of the company is very, very strong.
Yes. And Sanjay and Anand, a word now on what will you be watching out for in the next 24 to 48 hours? Because, as market watchers and as investors, you would be watching the market for all the hours that it is up.
Hi,
Sanjay.
as far as I am concerned, I am looking out whether this rally is a bounce back rally or market is preparing for a fresh big rally, because today what we are saying is purely a bounce back. So that will be a key. And second important will be to see how FIIs are turning up now. I want at least they should hold on their sale. And are we seeing some stability from FI side? These two will be very important for me to look from short-term perspective.
I would tend to agree with Anand.
All right. From the short-term perspective, what about you, Sanjay? Yes.
I would tend to agree with Anand, and I only hope that it's a long sustaining rally. And I'm sure, keeping in mind the situation overall of the economy and of the country, I'm sure we are looking for another big rally in the market.
All right, Sanjay and Anand, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your perspective. We'll be shifting focus now to the ongoing winter session, which began today. Winter session of Parliament has begun. The Prime Minister gave his customary soundbite and said that the opposition is perhaps distanced or not very clear about how the ground situation is, that it should be hearing the sentiments of the people from the ground. It is not reflecting its behavior according to that. So I think the message that is coming in from the Prime Minister, the tone clearly was that the Treasury benches is not ready to give any elbow room to the opposition on multiple issues that they are planning to raise. There was a letter that was written by Mallikarjun Kharge, who said that who has multiple issues to raise in this winter session, which begins today. Both the houses resumed, and then there was ruckus in Parliament, and then the adjournments followed. What are the reasons for these repeated adjournments? One of the issues is that the opposition MPs in the Joint Parliamentary Committee on the Waqf Amendment Bill want that committee should be extended. They are of the opinion that this requires far more deliberations, a bill of which will have huge implications on a huge section of population must undergo several rounds of deliberations. And that is the reason why whether the JPC bill on Waqf will be submitted in this session or not is a big question mark. One people-friendly bill which is likely to come up and tabled by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is the Banking Amendments Bill, which will be seen as a big reforms in the banking sector, which allows more than one nominee, in fact 4 nominees for any bank account holder. But overall, what's the message? Politically speaking, there is a great degree of fillip in the BJP's mood, a clear shift from the first session of 18th Lok Sabha to now. In fact, we are seeing some movement happen as well as we report from Vijay Chowk. The first session, because the BJP on its own was down to 240, it had not reached the halfway mark of 272, there was a concern. But all those concerns have shifted dramatically, first after the Haryana victory of the BJP and then a resounding victory which has come for Mahayuti in Maharashtra. A quick word, let's listen in now from what the Prime Minister said as soon as he entered Parliament, and also then Manikam Tagore speaking to my colleague Tanushka.
हर पीढ़ी का काम है आने वाली पीढ़ियों को तैयार करे, लेकिन 80-80, 90-90 बार जनता ने जिनको लगातार नकार दिया है, वे न संसद में चर्चा होने देते हैं, न लोकतंत्र की भावना का सम्मान करते हैं, न ही वह लोगों की आकांक्षाओं का कोई महत्व समझते हैं, उनका उसके प्रति कोई दायित्व है वो कोई समझ पाते हैं, और उसका परिणाम है वो जनता की उम्मीदों पर कभी भी खरे नहीं उतरते हैं, और परिणाम स्वरूप जनता को बार बार उनको रिजेक्ट करना पड़ रहा है.
Parliament is allowed by the treasury benches to function.
So what about the Waqf Bill amendment? How will the opposition, debate this in the Parliament?
We know that the Parliament joint committee has become a BJP committee, and the whole purpose of the committee has got destroyed because of the approach of the BJP, and we all feel that there is an attempt by the BJP to divide this country, spread hatred, spread anti-minority sentiments in the people's mind. Prime Minister Modi himself is leading that thing, but we will fight for those this kind of anti-minority and anti-Dalit stand of the government. We will continue to rise for those oppressed sections.
So you brought about the communal violence in Sambal. Speaking about Manipur as well, if you could tell us, Manipur has been burning for so long, and how is the opposition planning to look forward to tackle into that matter as well?
We had been demanding for a Manipur discussion on Manipur, and the government previous session also we asked the Prime Minister to visit Manipur. Prime Minister Modi was not ready to visit Manipur. Amit Shah ji has not gone after the recent violence also. It is very disturbing that Prime Minister and Home Minister is running away from Manipur's real issues. The hate in Manipur is an issue, and we continue to stand with this for the brotherhood and the peace in Manipur.
Well, joining with me, Senior Congress Leader Karthi Chidambaram. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to us. Prime Minister, on the first day of the winter session of Parliament, stressed upon the smooth functioning of Parliament. He stated that some people are self-centric and they want to stall the Parliament. How do you respond?
I agree with the Prime Minister. We must have smooth running of Parliament, but in Parliament also, the opposition must also have the space to raise issues of national concern. While we give adjournment motions, not one adjournment motion is admitted. So if the government, while it has its numbers, must allow the opposition to have its say while they can have their way. But we must give us space also to raise issues of importance which we deem fit.
So he attacked the Congress party as well. He stated that now 70-80 times the Congress leadership had been defeated. It is now new people who wanted to bring their discussions in the Parliament. They should be given space.
See, if the Prime Minister is alluding to the results of a day before yesterday, I hope he noticed the results in Jharkhand, and hope he noticed the results of the by-elections in Karnataka, and hope he noticed the results of the by-elections in Madhya Pradesh. It's been a mixed bag. We have won some, they have won some. There's no national trend. Each state votes differently. There are different issues in different states. There are different political grammars in different states, and people vote differently. In fact, there were 2 by-elections for Lok Sabha seats, and in both the seats, the Congress party has won. So can I say that is again a rejection of the government of the day, because we won both those by-elections in Nanded and in Wayanad. So there is no national trend. There are all state-specific issues, constituency-specific issues, which seem to have determined this election.
Meanwhile, as the winter session of the Parliament has resumed, the TDP MP, he rides a cycle to the Parliament. TDMP's message to fight air pollution in Delhi.
Reporting from the Parliament, and just behind me you can see heavy smog and air pollution is at its peak. Parliament session begins from today, and this MP named Appalanaidu Kalisetti, he is from Vizianagaram, Andhra Pradesh, had taken his cycle out, and now he had taken his cycle and came to the Parliament. Sir, you have taken once again your cycle out and came to the Parliament. We are inside the Parliament and there is heavy smog, air pollution is at its peak. What message you want to give to the people in large who are using vehicles, who are using transportation that causes pollution in larger?
Yes, especially first and member of Parliament leaders, all leaders and MPs and ministers, give me message or public pollution. Firstly, cycle. Next, all public and using definitely message to speaker. Please, public, all public pollution control in Delhi.
Will your party also raise this important issue inside the Parliament of your party?
Yes, I am Telugudesam Party, Chandrababu Naidu ji. Definitely, my party symbol cycle. All issues, Parliament, Andhra Pradesh issues also.
Well, Sambhal, violence was also one of the agendas in the Parliament during the winter session. Samajwadi MP, he in fact blamed the Uttar Pradesh police. He in fact said that the local authorities are responsible for the violence and that Sambhal MP was not even at the spot. He also pointed out to the lapses by the police and said that the victims should be compensated and that a probe committee should be set up. Listen in.
प्रोफेसर रामगोपाल यादव हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। सर, किसको दोषी ठहराते हैं संभल की घटना को लेकर?
जिला प्रशासन पूरी तरह से, क्योंकि 19 तारीख को सर्वे हो चुका था, शांतिमय तरीके से कोई बात नहीं थी। ये दोबारा पहुंच गए जाके सवेरे बिना किसी को बताए नारे लगाते हुए। भीड़ जब गई तो लोगों ने समझा ये मस्जिद पे कब्जा करने जा रहे हैं, इसलिए भीड़ इकट्ठी हुई। कोई बात ही नहीं थी कुछ, ये तो कराना ही चाहते थे योजनाबद्ध तरीके से।
बीजेपी के कई नेताओं ने कहा है कि समाजवादी पार्टी
कोई सही बोलते हैं कभी? सिर्फ झूठ बोलने के अलावा उनका कोई काम है नहीं, झूठ की खेती कर रहे हैं।
सर, अब तो एफआईआर भी दर्ज हो गई है जो वहाँ के मौजूदा सांसद हैं जिया और रहमान।
वो तो जांच होगी तो एफआईआर करने वाले सब फंस जाएंगे। मौजूदा सांसद थे भी नहीं वहाँ पे।
आप कह रहे हैं वहाँ पे मौजूदगी नहीं थी?
वो तो बाहर थे भाई, ऑन रिकॉर्ड बाहर थे।
तो आप कह रहे हैं पुलिस प्रशासन के ऊपर सवाल खड़े होते हैं सर इस पर?
पुलिस प्रशासन की तो गलती है ही। वो गोली कौन चला रहा है? पुलिस प्रशासन। जरूरत ही नहीं थी कुछ।
अगर समाजवादी पार्टी को कोई डिमांड रखनी हो इस पूरे मुद्दे पर संसद के अंदर या बाहर,
तो हम तो रख ही रहे हैं, डिमांड रख रहे हैं। जिन लोगों ने गोलियां चलाई हैं उनके खिलाफ मुकदमा कायम होना चाहिए हत्या का, और उनके कंपेंसेशन होना चाहिए पूरा, और एक पूरी एक कमेटी के जरिए जांच होनी चाहिए जिससे आइंदा इस तरह की घटनाएं न हो।
प्रोफेसर साहब, आखिरी सवाल, जब आज मुद्दा भी उठाया जा रहा था संभल का, लेकिन संसद नहीं चल पाई।
मुद्दा उठाने नहीं दिया गया तो संसद कैसे चलेगी?
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए। दैट वाज प्रोफेसर रामगोपाल यादव of the Samajwadi Party speaking to NDTV.
Well, the race to select Maharashtra Chief Minister, it is heating up. The Mahayuti leaders, they are set to travel to Delhi today. Eknath Shinde, Devendra Fadnavis, they are also supposed to meet the Union Home Minister Amit Shah today. Now, NCP MP Praful Patel, he said that the alliance partners are on the same page and that there is no problem between the alliance partners. He in fact said that we will go ahead with the same formula, one Chief Minister, two Deputy Chief Ministers of Maharashtra.
Well, joining with me, Senior Leader of NCP, Praful Patel. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to us after the bumper victory in the state of Maharashtra. Now, can you put a pause on all those speculations that are going on the rounds about the Chief Minister's face not being decided amongst the three alliance partners?
See, we have comprehensively won Maharashtra as the NDA Mahayuti, and there is no difference between the three parties. We worked excellently. We had a little setback in the Lok Sabha for various other reasons, but this time all the three parties, all the workers worked with each other hand in hand, and we won the elections. We won the confidence of the people of Maharashtra, and this is a spectacular victory, unprecedented. That's why it puts much more responsibility on us to behave and act responsibly. I don't see any problem. The issue of formation of government will be resolved in the next few days.
Sir, Prime Minister today also spoke and attacked the Congress party specifically. They stated that a lot of the Congress leaders, the senior leaders, do not give opportunities to the new young MPs inside the party.
Well, now, I have not heard the speech, so I don't want to say that. But I can also tell you, as a Congress party, in Maharashtra at least I have seen, it has self-imploded because, they just don't have the right leadership. They don't know the pulse of the people, and they are living in some kind of a la-la land and believing that, they were leading the pack to form the government. In fact, कौन बनेगा मुख्यमंत्री ये फॉर्मूला हमारे लिए नहीं था, उनके लिए था जो काल्पनिक चुनाव अभी हुआ नहीं था, चुनाव के पहले ही उन्होंने अपने मुख्यमंत्री की बंदरबाट शुरू कर दी थी। तो ये तो हास्यास्पद बात है। वक्त और बताएगा कि ये और कहाँ जाएंगे।
फॉर्मूला विल बी द सेम, वन चीफ मिनिस्टर।
हमारे सरकार जो आज है उसमें एक मुख्यमंत्री, दो उप मुख्यमंत्री हैं, तो स्वाभाविक है कि तीन पार्टी होने से ये फॉर्मूला लगभग हमारा आगे भी कायम रहेगा।
Well, the air pollution situation in Delhi and the national capital region, that also echoed in the parliament during the winter session. The Congress, it is said to raise the pollution issue. A Congress MP, he said that he had given notice to discuss pollution in the parliament, and that centre is not interested in order to discuss this situation. He in fact also added that the government's responsibility is to run the house.
Well, joining with me, senior Congress leader Ranjit Ranjan. Ma'am, आपने 176 पर नोटिस दिया था, एयर पोल्यूशन की आपने बात करी थी। लगातार आज रकस देखने को मिला पार्लियामेंट के अंदर, एक बार फिर से डिस्कशन नहीं हो पाया, क्या कुछ कहेंगे?
देखिए, ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी गवर्नमेंट की होती है कि पार्लियामेंट कैसे चले। हम लोगों ने 267 भी पूरे विपक्ष ने दिया था। आपको मालूम होगा जो ब्राइब की घटना हुई है अडानी वाली, तो उस पर भी हम लोग चाहते थे डिस्कशन, और मैंने खुद 197 दिया था पॉल्यूशन पे, जो बहुत गंभीर मसला है। 0 आवर भी था, 0 आवर भी नहीं चला। अफसोस है, क्योंकि राजनीति हो, दुकान हो, सब तब चलेगी जब हम स्वस्थ रहेंगे। और आज की जो हालात है, दिल्ली तो बद से बदतर हो चुका है। पूरे देश में जो WHO की रिपोर्ट कहती है, उसमें सबसे खराब अगर एयर पॉल्यूशन है तो वो इंडिया का है। दिल्ली हर साल 70 लाख लोग मर रहे हैं, जिसमें 19,000 दिल्ली के लोग मर रहे हैं। तो ये बहुत ही जरूरी डिस्कशन है जो होना ही नहीं चाहिए, बल्कि इसके समाधान के लिए पक्ष विपक्ष को मिलकर सॉल्यूशन निकालना चाहिए।
मैम, कल किरण रिजिजू साहब ने भी कहा, पार्लियामेंट्री अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर हैं, कि डिस्कशन के लिए वो रेडी है। आज सुबह प्रधानमंत्री ने भी अपने ओपनिंग रिमार्क्स में कहा कि स्मूथ फंक्शनिंग होनी चाहिए पार्लियामेंट की।
देखिए, आप बोल कुछ रहे हैं, कर कुछ रहे हैं। कथनी और करनी में फर्क है। पूरा हाउस को कंट्रोल करना, उसको चलाना, पूरी की पूरी जिम्मेदारी रूलिंग पार्टी की होती है, और विपक्ष का कर्तव्य होता है जब भी कोई इस तरह की ब्राइब की या किसी भी तरह की कोई भी आपकी नीति पर उंगली उठती है, तो विपक्ष का फर्ज है कि उसके बारे में आपसे पूछताछ करना। आपको हाउस चलाना है तो 267 का डिस्कशन देते। आप कहते इस वक्त नहीं तो इस वक्त, लेकिन हम चर्चा करेंगे। जो अमेरिका से रिपोर्ट आई है, जो वारंट जारी हुआ है, चर्चा करेंगे। आप पारदर्शिता लाइए, आप चर्चा कराइए। हम ये नहीं कह रहे कौन करप्ट है, नहीं है, लेकिन जब ये मामला आया है तो JPC बैठाने में जाता क्या है? जॉइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी बैठाइए।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए। That was Congress MP Ranjit Ranjan speaking to NDTV.
Time now for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always bustling. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever.